Okay, guys, I think we are live now. So, hello, welcome. You are sitting here with Kim E, the Diabetes MP, and we are back for another episode of Lunch and Learn. And so today, I wanted to do something kind of interesting. This one probably will not go as long. Hopefully, it won't. I'm gonna be honest. Hopefully, it won't. But I receive many different comments. I'm on many different social platforms: Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Of course, I have a YouTube channel. Um, and a lot of people come across my content. I have a blog. And so on all these platforms, people can leave comments. Of course, people can email me. Most of these platforms have some type of form of messaging or DM or something like that. And so I receive a lot of different comments, and it has been a habit of mine that I engage people who comment. I have my settings set because, of course, the internet is the internet, and there are lots of spamming like it's not, you could tell it's not a real person. It's like, a bot or something like that. So I have my settings set up where it can catch some of the bots. Sometimes it doesn't. When I catch them, or someone that works with me catches them, we normally are able to like clean that up. But for the most part, I allow my comments to be open. As long as you are respectful and you're not hateful, we can have a conversation. We are adults. And I'm not one of these people that, I don't portray myself as someone who knows everything. I also don't portray myself as a person who can only be the only one that has the insight on something. And so this community was created. My community was created so we can all learn from each other. So because of all of that, I keep my comments open. And even if someone doesn't, you know, you know, like something that I say, as long as you're being respectful, that's fine. Okay. And I've had people to tell me, you talk too much, you ramble too much, you this, that, and that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's still my channel. I am giving information. So if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. But at the end of the day, I keep it open. And I say all of that because I recently, maybe a couple of weeks back, one of my older videos, and I'm not going to bring up the comment. I'm not going to name the person's name because I don't want anybody going and looking at it. It's not even about trying to put the person on blast, because honestly, I wasn't offended at all. I didn't feel any type of way, because this was the comment spoke into a misconception that I get all the time. So much so where I felt like today I want to address it. Okay. And the comment went a little something like this. Like I said, it was an older video where in the video I was talking about lifestyle modifications, how to eat, nutrition, and things like that. And the person commented, well, it's very simple. You have to cut out all fruit. Fruit isn't necessary. You only need to eat this, and that, and you'll lose weight, and then you won't have any diabetes. And of course, it was more a part of that comment, but it really made me smirk because, and many of you probably have felt the same way as well. You've probably heard, as we have in healthcare, all the misconceptions that our patients or their families or whomever, the general public, can have. And there's really no science behind it. There's really no evidence behind it. They may, it that may have worked for you, but that doesn't mean that it will work for the masses. And that's one of the things that I often tell my patients, is that it's one thing for it to work for one person, five people, or 10 people. It's another thing for it to work for thousands of people, for hundreds of thousands of people, for it to go long term and you see, okay, this is sustainable. And so today I want to address the comment that fruit is unnecessary, because I've actually gotten this question. Actually, I've had the comment But then I've also had patients ask, can I eat fruit? And the question from the patients it always gets me, because most of the time while they're asking that, there has been some healthcare professional, I don't know what kind, I don't know who, I don't know when, but there has been a healthcare professional that has normally told them to cut out fruit from their diet. Clearly, it's not a nutritionist or a dietitian, because normally I ask, was that a dietitian that told you that? No, never been to a dietitian. And it could vary. It could be a nurse practitioner, it could be a physician, it could be a PA, it could be a pharmacist, it could be it would vary, but it's never a dietitian. And that's always the funny thing. That's the first red flag. It's never the person who specializes in food, that tells you that. But what I want to do is kind of unpack that to give you some talking points. If you ever get this from your patients, if you have gotten this from your patients, and just some of my thoughts. Now, again, I am not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. And though I can help my patients with a lot of nutritional counseling, I can help them kind of sort through the beginning and give them a foundation. I always suggest and recommend and advocate for patients to get into a dietitian, period. A registered dietitian nutritionist, period. Because this is what they do. If you want to have your house built or something built, you go to a carpenter. If you need water, if you have water issues at your house, you go to a plumber. So my thing is, hey, yeah, me and my husband can tinker around our house, but it's going to cost us time. It's going to cost us money, and we still may not get the job done. So my whole thing is and I mentioned this in the last video, we don't have to work in a silo. There are other healthcare professionals, and we have to build that team around our patients. So let's get into it. So I wrote a few notes, very few. As y'all see, normally I come with a notebook and some resources, but today I got a little piece of notes. So hopefully this won't go too long. So let's get right into it. So like I said, title is Fruit is Unnecessary, because we've gotten that. I've had all kinds of variations. Can I eat fruit? Is it necessary? Should I cut fruit out? I have diabetes. Is this spiking my blood sugar? All the questions, right? All of that. This is coming up under that umbrella, okay? So it's a common misconception, and let's unpack the reason why. The reason why is because we know that fruit has natural sugars in it. And I think people get caught up on the sugar that's in it, the type of sugar that's in it, and that throws them off. Cut out everything in your diet that has sugar in it. But here's the thing. Pretty much everything has some type of carb in it. I mean, some type of carb, unless you're thinking about your meats, which will be your proteins. There are carbs in vegetables. You know what I'm saying? And so to do that, to tell your patient to cut out fruit, which is, for one, a healthy piece of food, okay? You are limiting a person who is already probably feeling extremely restricted. Not only do they feel restricted, let's be honest, there are going to be some changes, and there will be some restrictions, especially for the newly diagnosed person with diabetes and the person who the diabetes is progressing. There are going to be some changes. There are going to be some things that they're going to have to rather go without, or they're going to have to be very mindful of how much they're eating and decrease probably what they normally consume. So for a patient, you're already feeling restricted. And then you go and tell me I can't eat fruit. Now, mind you, we live in a society that could stand to eat more fruits and vegetables, but then you're going to take out something that can be something that's good in there, that will be something that's good in their toolbox of food. So what sense does that make? And we know that when one of us, or this is just human nature, if you're feeling restricted, how long can you sustain that? See, we're not thinking about short term, we're thinking about a lifetime. When we talk about lifestyle modifications, we're not looking for perfection. We're not focusing on being perfect. We're not focusing on um, weight loss. Yes, we know weight loss helps tremendously, but that can't be the core focus. It can't be the core focus, right? We're looking for something that can be sustained over a lifetime. And realistically, how realistic would that be for somebody? It won't be. It won't be. Okay. So, and I can go more into that. I'm not, but like, let's use our common sense here. Like, so you're saying that it's better to restrict a person and they're basically going to eat this and this for the rest of their life. That's it. And also, if you dig into the standards of care, and there's also the ADA put out like a nutritional consensus as well. The goals of nutritional counseling for a patient, one of the goals is that that people still can have enjoyment when they eat. We are social people, and part of being social, we eat. Part of a lot of cultures, a lot of people, that's part of what you do. When you gather, you eat. So you don't want it to be so restrictive because it does not yield good results. Okay? Like we have to work with what we all know what is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Nobody just wants to eat broccoli for the rest of their lives, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna eat is broccoli. That's the only vegetable I can eat. That's the only like, and I'm using that because the way that the commenter put it is like, you need to eat this and this and you'll lose the weight. Well, yeah, of course you'll lose the weight, but you'll be miserable. And at a certain point in time, the person is going to get tired of that. They're going to be around their family members. They're going to go out to eat. Like, it's not that cut and dry. Hence why you need to get into a professional who can actually sit down and help you curate a plan. That's number one. So that's where the common misconception is. And just kind of, how to kind of work through that is that, like, it's the sugar content and the whole idea of it has sugar in it. But we have to take it a step further, and you have to really color this for people. So yes, this fruit does have glucose, has sugar in it, but we have to also remember that our body's preferred energy source is glucose. Okay, and so our body needs it to function. Our brain needs it to function. So it would not be the smartest to cut it completely out when it's something that your body needs. It's like when you're thirsty, you drink water. Yeah, you can drink a soda, but what does your body really want? What is really going to quench that thirst? It is water. So it's the same thing. You give your body what it needs. Now, also with that, if you're cutting fruit out, you're missing out on the heel of, I'm cutting this out because there's a lot of sugar in it. Think about what else is in fruit. It is not the same as, we should not categorize it in the same category as candy or brownies or cookies, because yes, they taste good, yes, have a lot of sugar in them, but you don't get any nutritional value from them. That's not the case with fruit. That's not the case with fruit. Now, I will say this. Every fruit is not deemed the same. There are some fruits that have more sugar content than others, right? And again, going into a professional who can help you sit down and say, okay, you can eat these, but maybe just once or twice a week. Or this is something that can be your go-to every single day. Every fruit is not the same. Okay. They're not all weighted the same. There are some that are better than others. Some of my favorites are apples, because of the protein. They always help with my appetite. So if I'm hungry, grabbing a quick apple, really good. I love citrus fruits. Berries are very good, especially your blueberries, because the antioxidants that are in there really good for immune system and inflammatory processes. So you have to think about that. And these were really good. Yes, they have sugar in them, but their sugar content is not high, right? This is not an all exhaustive list. I'm just giving you some examples. But again, we cannot categorize this in the same category as a brownie. It's not the same. Okay. And we have to understand you have your whole foods, anything that is a whole food. That should be what you should be leaning into. Now, all this processed stuff, that's what we need to eliminate, not the whole foods that we can grow from our own ground that is organic and that has no additives to it, right? That's what we need to be filling our diet with, what we're eating every single day. And so the bottom line is this. I'm going to be very honest with you. This may be a little blunt. Probably not. Maybe not. Y'all kind of know me by now. But bottom line is this. I have never, and I try not to use absolute words like always or never or anything like that. But in this case, I feel like I can say this. I have never, in the whole 14 years that I have been a nurse and 10 years I have been a nurse practitioner, going on 11 years being a nurse practitioner, I have never seen a person who has issues with their diagnosis of diabetes and or a person who is with overweight or obesity. When we peel back the onion layers and we're trying to figure out what the core issue is, why they can't lose weight, why they can't get their glucose under control, it has never been because of their consumption of fruit. It has never been. Okay? I have never seen a person with overweight or obesity or uncontrolled diabetes or even controlled diabetes that the bang of their existence is, I love fruit. And that is why my blood sugar spiked to 300. Never seen it. Now, if y'all have, drop down in the comments and let me know. I've never seen that. That's never been the case. But you know what? What has been the case is portion control. And not just because of the fruit. Now, I have had patients that will sit down and eat a whole bag of grapes. You should not do that. Or a whole carton of strawberries. You shouldn't do that either. There is something called serving sizes. There's something called portion control. But guess what? You shouldn't do that with anything. You shouldn't sit down and eat a whole carton of cookies or a whole box of cookies, a whole thing of donuts either. You wouldn't do that for any food. So portion control, when let me read off the three things when I was really thinking about when I have a patient that has the issue of especially something like diabetes or hypertension or cholesterol, where it is, we know that it has something to do with the lifestyle, the way that they eat or something like that. Let me just give y'all the three things that I think about when I think back. What are the issues that my patients have? Let me tell you what those are. It's rather one or more of these three things. Portion control, sedentary lifestyle, unbalanced meal. It's one of the three, if not all three. I have had people who, well, let's just be honest, in America in general, and I'm victim to this as well. It wasn't until I started really learning how to read labels and really starting to measure out my serving sizes and weighing food, where I was like, wow, I would have did a couple of more little scoops, had it been me, if I would have been eyeballing it, we don't know portion size. We don't know good portion size. Our country is known, our portion sizes are huge in this country. We know that. Nobody's going to argue that, right? You go to other countries, what they give you on your plate, first off, the plates are smaller and you get a smaller portion. In America, everything is bigger. Everything is bigger, and we pride ourselves on everything being bigger. Bigger, let's make anything we can put on a burger. Let's put it on a burger. They put freaking donuts on burgers. You know what I'm saying? I forgot what it was called. I forgot what it's called. But we put everything on burgers, okay? Put more bread. You know, what is it? The Big Mac has 3 pieces of bread. So our portion control is all out of whack. And even the person who thinks that they're eating healthy, most of the time can at least reassess how much they're eating, their portion. That's one thing. Also, many people are sedentary, like I mentioned last video. If you're not physically active, which I've defined on my channel what physical activity is and what that will be considered. If you're not doing that a minimum 3 times a week, you are considered sedentary. You are. It doesn't matter. And guess what? There's many people who are very thin people who are sedentary. My husband being one of them. Love him to death. He's a very thin man. But my husband does not do the minimum amount of physical activity minutes a week. And he'll tell you that. You know? And most Americans do not. We live in a society where we do a lot of sitting at a computer. We don't get up and walk around a lot. Many people we're so busy. Many people they're not getting up and moving around. Okay. Let alone exercising, running, walking, all that stuff, getting on a treadmill. So many people, they're taking in more. So we have portion control that's large. So we're taking in more. But we're also not burning. We're not expending any energy. So we're not burning any of that off. We're taking in more calories and not burning any because we're sedentary. And then lastly, the contents, you know, what our meal consists of is not a well-balanced meal. So all 3 of those working together, and I can probably even stretch it. Most people, all 3 of these are the issue. What you eat is not nutrient dense. You're eating far too much of it. And then you're just not moving around and you're not burning any of those extra calories that you've been eating. And that, my friend, that trifecta is what gets us to weight gain. That's what gets us to all the health issues that we have. And hey, listen, I've been on my health journey for years now. I come from the South. We love good food down there. Our food is great. And so I understand. I come from a family that has much chronic disease. That's why I pay so much attention to what I eat and what I try, so I understand. I understand. So this is not to judge or anything, but this is just a response when somebody says, can I eat fruit? And it's not necessary. You shouldn't be eating fruit. I've even had people to be told they shouldn't eat fruit by people who are professionals and non-professionals. That's not the issue. Now we can go into it and we can go even deep of why you need fruit and all this stuff and all this stuff like that. I'm not going to do that here because, hey, we're all healthcare professionals. We know. But what we cannot do, and what I tend to tell my patients, is we cannot lose sight of the forest because of the trees. You're getting caught up on something that is overall very much healthy for you. It's very much good for you. Now, you do need to be mindful of how much you're eating, when you're eating it, and also what's better than others. There are some fruits that are just better than others. They're all not ranked the same. But that's not your issue. Fruit is not your issue. The issue is that you're not eating a well-balanced diet, period. And your portion control is off and you're not moving around. So let's fix those 3. And partnered with a dietitian, we can combat that. Right? And so that's all I got, y'all. I said it was going to be less than 30 minutes. It is less than 30 minutes, but y'all know I get to talking and I'm trying, y'all. I really am trying. But anywho, I hope you all enjoyed that. This was a little different. I wanted to bring a comment in, and I may do that from time to time, even if it's not like this, where I'm trying to unpack a misconception, even if it's just like, hey, if you all have any suggestions of things that you want to listen to, want me to speak on, if you've read any articles that you want me to commentate over, put them down in the comments, and I'll take a look over them and put them in the queue, and you know come on here and we can have a good old chat about it. But before I let you go, definitely want to say, if you're not already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Okay. Right now, this is streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I would love to have you on all of these platforms. So please subscribe, follow me, ding the notification bell so you do not miss an upload from me. You have been sitting here with Kim E, the Diabetes MP. This is our Lunch and Learn, and I will catch y'all on the next episode next week. Bye.